I'm Cali Lewis from Geek Brief TV. I'm going to show you how to control iTunes with your iPod Touch today on The Lab with Leo Laporte.
Hey, how are you? Good to see you and welcome, and good to see Cali Lewis too. This is The Lab, the show where we help you understand technology. We make you comfortable with it. We explain how it works, show you how to choose it if you're in the market for new technology, how to use it if you've already got it, how to abuse it if you're a hacker and you like to mess with it, and of course when you're done, how to lose it as well. Ladies and gentlemen, the beautiful Kate Abraham.
Hello.
Good to see you in bright
too.
red. And Cali Lewis via Skype. Now that's kind of neat. She's going to be on with us from Texas.
Yes, she is.
And believe it or not, that beginning thing, that was Skype. It's unbelievable.
Audio and visuals.
Yeah, just amazing. We're going to go back in time to Maxwell's Marvelous Museum of Magical Technology. The stuff from the good old days.
Back in the day.
Back when I was your age. We're going to take a look at... I know, it's hard to believe I was ever your age, but in fact, we're going to look at some old calculators, some really early day computers. This is going to be a lot of fun. Callie is going to show you, as she's told us, how to control iTunes with an iPod Touch. Now, I don't know, this must be some sort of hack, because as far as I knew, you couldn't install third-party applications on the iPod Touch, but she must have figured out something. We'll see. Maybe not. I don't know. We've got Tris Hussey, too. He's the blog wizard, and he's going to show us a variety of offline blog editors. So, you know, a lot of times people will do their blog online on the web using a web browser, but there are ways to do it with a standalone client. In fact, that's how I do it, and we'll take a look at a couple of different ways to do that. So, lots of stuff, but really this is all about your calls, and we've got a caller on the line right now.
We have indeed. We have William, and he is from Edmonton in Alberta.
William from Edmonton. Thank you, Kate. Hello, William.
Hello.
Welcome to The Lab.
Thank you very much.
How are you today?
I'm good. How about you?
Very, very well. Brand new day, brand new show, brand new questions, and let's hope brand new answers.
Yes.
Fire away, William. Start us off.
My question is, because I'm trying to look for a webcam for a Mac Mini, and I'm trying to use it for Yahoo messaging or MSN messaging. And
I don't think MSN, does MSN do video on the Mac? I think Yahoo does. I know iChat and AIM do.
I think Yahoo does.
Yeah, I don't think MSN does yet.
Yeah.
Or ever, probably, knowing Microsoft.
Yeah.
So anyway, what you need is a camera. Now, of course, Apple now has, it's very strange because Apple made a very good camera. It wasn't cheap, but it was expensive, but it was a very good FireWire-based camera for its Macs called the iSight, and it really opened up everything. And then they started building it into their monitors, so if you get an iMac, it's on the iMac. If you get a laptop, it's on the laptop. But for people with minis, you're kind of out of luck. Why? Because they don't make the iSight anymore. In fact, this thing has become so popular that if you go to eBay and look for an iSight, it's actually priced above the old list price, which was pretty expensive to begin with. I think it's over $200 on eBay. So I'm not going to recommend an iSight. Frankly, I never thought it was that good of a camera. I guess for the price it was. Do you have a FireWire DV camcorder, a standard camcorder with a FireWire on it?
No.
Those work great, by the way, and I use those. And almost all FireWire camcorders, mini camcorders that use the digital video, will work on a Macintosh. You just plug it into the FireWire, the Mac will see it, iChat will see it, Yahoo will see it. It just works. If you don't have one of those, many USB cameras will work. This is what everybody uses on the PC, is something like the Logitech Quick Cam or the Logitech Ultra Vision, which I really like. And not all of these yet work, but Logitech's been pretty good about coming out with drivers for the Mac. So let's go take a look at the Quick Cams. I think these are pretty good. And, you know, the Ultra Vision is expensive. It's like $150. I'm not sure, or $130 US. I'm not sure I'd want to spend that much. But it has Carl Zeiss optics. I mean, it's a really nice camera. This is probably their top of the line. And I'm pretty sure this will work with the Mac. I haven't tried it because I have the QuickCam Pro. But many of their QuickCams will work with the Mac. So you can use a USB cam. You should check before you buy it, obviously, to make sure that it's going to work with the Mac. This is the one I use, the QuickCam UltraVision SE. This must be the one with the Zeiss lens. It's 129 bucks. Or no, I have the Pro. That's right. This is the one, the QuickCam Pro 9000. So they're making this is 100 bucks. This is probably the one I would get. Logitech builds in a lot of stuff for Windows, and you see it works with all these clients on Windows, and it works with Vista, but they also have just started distributing a Mac driver. What are you going to do with it? Is it's just for chatting with your friends?
Well, actually, it's for my father-in-law, and he owns the PC, the Mac, and I own a PC.
See. So you want to talk back and forth?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the thing is, just as with anything, always make sure that it has a Mac driver for it. But many USB cams, for a long time you couldn't. Many USB cams now work. If you can't find one with a USB driver, Ecamm, ECAMM.com, makes an add-on USB driver for the Macintosh. So they also have a driver. And in fact, they even sell a USB webcam, a very inexpensive one. I haven't tried this, so I don't know how good the quality is. But this is designed for the Mac. It's $60 US. This is the iMage USB webcam. And these guys actually make USB drivers for the Mac, so I know these will work pretty well. USB in general isn't going to give you as good a result because you have to compress it more to make it work with USB. However, you know, it's going to be okay. It's going to be no worse than a USB camera on a PC. Just because you can support FireWire, it's nice if you use the FireWire. And that's why the iSight was a great product. It's gone, though. I know, you know, Apple in their infinite wisdom has decided not to make it, and nor have they replaced it with anything else. The cameras that come on the Mac laptops and on the Mac, on the iMac now, I think are very good. In fact, that's what we're using with the Cali. I think they work very, very well. They look great. They're basically iSight technology built into the monitor. Okay, William?
Yes.
So almost any USB. I like the Logitechs very much. Most of theirs now will work on a Mac.
Logitech, okay.
Hey, thanks a lot for the call. I appreciate it. Coming up, Mr. Ray Maxwell's Magical Museum of Technology. We go back in time. When the lab continues, you stay right here. Woo, woo. We need that wavy thing. Woo, woo, woo. Welcome back to the lab. Chris, our Steadicam operator, tells me I forgot. I didn't even mention it. MacCam, which is an open source driver from SourceForge. He's used it. He says it works with lots of cheapo USB cams. So that's good. Thank you for the tip. And we'll put that in the show notes. I completely forgot to mention that one. In fact, they have a list on the site, which is at sourceforge.net, of all the cameras, and it's like that they support on the Mac. It's hundreds of them. Oddly enough, it doesn't work with iChat. It works with the other ones. iChat requires the Ecamm software. This is Ray Maxwell. Ray Maxwell's brought his magical museum of ancient technology on the show. You have a lot of stuff. You don't throw things out, eh, Ray?
I have my basement filled with goodies I just can't part with.
You know what's sad is I had many of these things, but I parted with them. I gave this to my brother-in-law. I do have my slide rule, actually.
Right.
But it's funny how these things kind of migrate away, and then you wish you had them.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I'm glad you saved them. Where should we start here?
Well, let's start.
This is really cool.
This is an incredible.
Here, let me hold it so I can show it to the camera.
That is an incredible collector's item.
Tell us the story behind this.
The story behind that's a Curta mechanical calculator.
It looks like a pepper grinder.
Yeah, and if you look on the bottom, the name of the designer, which is Kurt Hertzstark, I believe I'm pronouncing it correctly, and it's manufactured in Liechtenstein. But the important part was this fellow was a Holocaust survivor, and while he was in Buchenwald,
you're kidding,
he designed this to keep his mind going.
You're kidding.
And it's a.
But this looks modern. Is this still being made?
No, that is a well-preserved, unused Curta. It belongs to a friend of mine, to be fair.
So you'd set the numbers that you wanted to calculate on these sliders here. I'm not sure we should really play with it. I don't want to break it.
No. Oh well, it's quite well made. But you slide the numbers here, and then you turn this crank
to do the calculation. And you'll get the result up here.
Yeah, you can add, subtract, multiply, and divide.
I mean, that's a brilliant gear.
And if you look at it, it's a beautiful machine.
It feels good. It's metal. It feels like something that's really well made.
They sold back in Popular Mechanics and Popular Science and Scientific America for $50. Now, if you go on eBay,
thousands, I'm sure. I mean, this is precious.
the beat up ones are 500 and they go up to 2,500.
And this is perfect mint.
Yeah, that one's mint.
Unbelievable. That's Curta. Wow.
Now, oddly enough, I asked my friend, we both were in college together, that owns this. I said, I didn't see any of those in university. And he said, yeah, but, we had to go to the slide rule because it had sine, cosine, tangent, the transcendental functions. And if you're an engineer, you needed those functions.
And the funny thing about a slide rule is it's completely mechanical, but it actually did a very good job of doing these functions using logarithmic scales.
For the 4 basic functions, the Curta, of course, it's 8 digits
precision.
in, 11 digits out.
Right.
This is good to 3, maybe.
But actually, it was very useful because it taught people things about scientific precision that were very valuable. That in the computer age, I think kids today, they go, I can calculate anything to 20 decimal places.
Exactly.
Yeah, you might be able to, but so what? So with so the way this would work, tell us, how would you do this?
Well, if you wanted to multiply, you use the C and D scale.
Okay.
And you slid this to the first number, you slid this to the second number, you read out on the scale below the output.
So this would be the first number here. You put the cursor, and this was the original cursor, by the way.
Yes, that's the original cursor.
That's the original cursor, and then you would read it on the bottom scale.
Yes.
With your answer.
And you could do logarithm, sine, cosine. There's a scale for each of those.
Does anybody still use a slide rule?
Oh, no.
We know this one's Ray's because it says Maxwell. People used to, in the days before of early geekdom, and I had one of these. I'm embarrassed to say, you'd have a pouch that you'd carry. He has his
Now, on the campus I went to, it was uncool to wear that on your belt.
Yeah, rightly so. I think
you carried a briefcase and you had it inside.
Yeah, but they gave you a belt case. Look at that, and you could, if you really wanted to, walk around like a knight in ancient times with your sword, but it's a slide rule.
Right.
So that's called a slide rule, sometimes called a slipstick.
That's right.
By those in the know.
Oddly enough, it's plastic coated, but it's bamboo for lubrication.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Now, we used to get something that later on they had these metal aluminum slide rules, and you'd have to put Pickett made them, and you had to put graphite on them.
Yes.
Pencil lead.
Yeah, but those were self-lubricating.
Much better. Yeah. Those are the great ones.
The next step was the HP35.
Look at this. This is celebrating its 35th anniversary this year.
Or more, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the big deal, as HP said, in fact, this was invented 35 years ago.
Now, they had desktop calculators, prior to this. But Bill Hewlett called the guys in and he said, you see this log slide rule? He said, I want a calculator that does everything the log slide rule does. That it had sine, cosine.
It's kind of amazing that the slide rule could do all of this stuff.
That's right.
Log, sine, cosine, as you say. But one thing it has that the slide rule didn't have memory.
Yes.
It'll remember your result, and you could calculate on the calculated result.
Right.
So how much were these when these first came out?
Those were over $500. Yeah.
Wow. They still make them, They have an anniversary special. I think it's like $12.50.
Oh, my word.
I don't know what it is, but it's not very expensive. No. Wow. That's the original, huh?
Yeah.
Does it still work? Can I turn it on?
The battery's shot, but if you plug it in, it still works. My wife still uses it all the time.
You're kidding?
Nope.
Oh, that's funny.
And then this is the HP 67, same form factor. And the unique thing is, if you look at the little slot on the side there, it took magnetic cards and it was programmable.
Wow.
And so you could program in, whole functions and run them. I used that when I was installing a satellite ground station to calculate the position of the satellite in ephemeris data when I was in the jungles of Indonesia.
Wow. What kind of memory cards, though, could you get for these?
Little magnetic cards.
So they were just for this calculator?
Yeah, just for that calculator.
Wow. And I think a lot of programmers cut their teeth on this. This was the first chance you had to program a computer, really.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. These are using RPM postfix? Or were they using standard infix notation?
That's all reverse Polish notation.
All RPN. Yeah. So you had to enter the numbers, the operations, then the numbers, and the numbers.
You entered a number, and then you entered the next number, and then you did the operation.
Instead of 2 plus 2, you do 2, 2 plus.
Right.
And that actually makes sense once you learn it.
It's the way you really work. And then this was the last HP calculator that I bought, which was only about 6 or 7 years ago.
Lots lighter, more powerful, 1/10 the price.
The big difference, this would run about 3 hours on a charge.
Yeah.
I haven't changed the batteries in that since I bought it.
And they make them now. They can use solar power. You'll never change the battery.
Exactly.
Isn't that amazing? How far? And this had 128K RAM compared to maybe 1K at best in the little HPs. That's amazing.
The next step up is the microcomputer chip came out that made these possible, but you needed a way to develop it. So we had a box like this, which was called an Intellect 880, because this it originally had the 8008 in it, and then it went to an 8080.
That was the first Intel chip, the 8008.
Right. Well, they had a 4004 that I actually worked with.
That was the one that they developed originally as a calculator chip.
That's correct.
They realized, wait a minute, we don't have to put calculator functions, and we can make it a general purpose chip.
And it had a clock frequency of, I believe, 2 megahertz. It helps to appreciate where we're doing today to look back at this.
Yeah, well, the 8080 was 4 megahertz, so I think you're probably, I think it was the 8088.
This is an interesting box because prior to this, everyone used mini computers, PDP-8s, PDP-11s, and they had front panels.
The lights that would blink.
Okay, and it had blinking lights and switches, and you could toggle things in. Well, when they made the transition to these chips, the guys who were used to mini computers freaked out. Where's the front panel?
I need a front panel.
So Intel built this to make the transition easier. And you could program this, and you
would program it by switching the switches like crazy.
And then, after you got your program in there using a ASR33 teletype, okay, you then could program these ROM chips. Okay.
So these are read-only memories, but they were erasable, so they were actually EPROMs, weren't they?
These were, exactly. These are EPROMs. Now, these are really big chips. Each little chip here could store 256 bytes. so
that whole card,
this card was 4K.
4K.
And it was ultraviolet erasable. If you look at the little windows on there.
I remember that. It would shine the light into those windows.
You shine the light in there about 3 minutes, and it would erase it. And then you plug it in this zero insertion force thing, and you'd be able to program it down here in this little green
erasable
slot.
Programmable read-only memories.
And of course, then
we got to end with this because this everybody wanted and still wants. This is the first portable computer.
This is the first laptop.
Model 100.
Model 100 TRS-80 from Radio
This is 4 lines by 80 characters. Was that right?
You're being way too generous. I think it's 32 characters.
32 characters. Big. They were big. But you know, every sports reporter in the world used these at the baseball games and the football games, and you could hook it up
plug
to
in
a phone,
an acoustic modem at 300
and upload your story.
Yeah.
But boy, what a revolution this was. And you know, it's funny now. It seems kind of big. At the time, boy, I couldn't believe how small this was.
Exactly.
Amazing. Ray Maxwell's the greatest engineer, raconteur, scientist, and obviously collector. Thank you so much for bringing in some of your objets de memorabilia.
Helps to look back occasionally.
We'll have some more. Ray now has a website.
Yes.
Ray Maxwell is at
MaxwellMultimedia.com.
Thank you, Ray. This is so much fun. I wonder if Shawn managed to get a close-up of any of these things for our What the Tech contest. Let's take a look at something zoomed in very close. I know what that is, I think. Do you? It looks like a jet engine.
I
think Ray knows what it is.
Yeah, I think I know.
I'll tell you what. Do you know? We'll find out when we zoom out right after these messages. Stay right here. Welcome back to the lab. Before the break, we showed you this. I know what it is. It's a ballpoint pen, right? Yes, I got one. I am now 3.5 out of 143.
4.5 now.
4.5.
Don't sell yourself short.
Wow. Our 134 episodes.
Good stuff.
Wow. Hey, you want what the tech is this? Zoom in close on this. This is the diagram from vcalc.net of the Curta machine taken apart. What an amazing thing that is. Look at that.
Let's build that for one of our segments.
I would be, if you were a master machinist, maybe. It'd be fun to have a poster. They may actually sell a poster of this. It would be fun to have that on the wall. Hey, let's get another call on the air here. What do you got for us?
We
Kate?
have John, and he's from Whitby in Ontario.
Oh, I love that. Hello, John. How are you?
I'm just great. Yourself?
Fantastic. Welcome to the lab. What can I do for you today?
Well, I've recently switched over to, or trying to switch over to Mac, and I'd like to be totally independent of Windows. So, just having a little trouble. I've been using Web Studio because I'm not very geekish, and it's a Windows-based program, and of course I'd like something I can use on my Mac, but something that's fairly simple to use, drag, drop, click.
Sure. Web Studio is a very simple web design tool, simple to use, I should say, very complex actually in many ways, gives you a lot of capability. You should certainly, now you already have an existing site?
Yes, I do.
So, okay, so this isn't going to work. You probably already tried it, is iWeb, which comes with the Macintosh. iWeb is a great tool. It's very much like Web Studio, but the problem is it only can work on iWeb design sites. And once you start designing a site with iWeb, you're stuck with iWeb. You can't go anywhere else. I mean, it makes it as easy as possible. This is actually the old iWeb. We don't have the new. I think I don't either. I didn't launch the new one, or they don't have the new one. But it comes with, very much like Web Studio. It comes with templates, which you can then drag and drop pictures into. You can modify the text. You know, this is my podcast, so forth. Really easy to use. I actually don't recommend it, and the reason I don't recommend it is just like Front Page and some other tools, it's kind of a one-way street. Once you use it, you're stuck with it. Now, Web Studio, I believe, it's my understanding, is a much more standards-based website. So the site that you have, the HTML and so forth, for the most part, you should be able to modify it. There may be some plug-in functionality that Web Studio used. If you use some of their advanced features, you might have some trouble migrating away from it. But in general, you should be able to use another tool. So I'm going to recommend, this is one for Windows, Mac, even Linux. It's called NVU. Not quite as powerful as Web Studio, but it is WYSIWYG, very simple, and it has the advantage of being completely free. It's actually based on the old Netscape Composer. You go to nvudev.com. They say it's pronounced NVU. I should pronounce it properly. And it is, you know, you're going to, as you look at it, you're going to say, wow, this is a little bit scary because it isn't quite as simple, but I don't think it's going to take you long to figure it out. It's a WYSIWYG, so that means you use word processing style editing. You can drag in text, drag in images and so forth, and it'll automatically generate the HTML. You can use it to open up your page and see if your existing page works in it, and it probably will unless Web Studio has done something really odd. So iWeb is if you don't have a site and you want to start from scratch and you don't mind sticking with iWeb. NVU is a great choice if you want something free that will give you a web standard based site. And of course, the pros use programs like Dreamweaver. I'm not going to recommend that because it's $700. And it really expects, I think, more capability. Dreamweaver is from macromedia.com. There are lots of other choices in between. It just depends on how much you want to become a web designer and how much you just want to stick the stuff in. What kind of site is it?
Well, it's just a site for our business, and it's pretty basic, and it's I basically did it all myself, but it was a lot of fun.
Well, give me the URL. I'd like to look at it.
dventures.com.
eventures.com?
Yes.
No hyphen or anything?
No.
So,
but I had fun messing around with it. And,
yeah, and it sounds like you're maybe interested in learning even a little bit more, and I think NVU would be a great next step for it. What I would do first is, since it's free, download it and see if you can open it up in NVU. That would be a good start. Are you using CSS or anything, or is it just plain old HTML?
Just plain HTML.
Yeah, it might be time to look at more modern tools for something like this. Maybe. Do you have control of the server, maybe even putting in a more advanced technology, a dynamic web platform like WordPress that would allow you to modify the content easily without using tools like NVU or web design tools? In the long run, I think that's a good way to go. Do you update the content frequently?
I hadn't for about a year, and I thought
maybe it's time.
That was a bad thing.
So maybe it's
learn all over again.
Maybe it's time. Yeah, I think that a website that doesn't change loses visitors.
Yes, it does.
They come back a few times, but after a while they realize that's not going to change. If it hasn't changed in a year, it's not going to change ever again. It's called a cobweb site.
Yeah. Well, so I changed it about 3 weeks ago. And,
good.
And I thought, well, why am I doing this in the other office? I'd like to be doing it on my
Do it at home on your Mac.
Yes.
So try NVU. Now, I have to say, in the long run, if you want to make a dynamic site that's changing a lot, it is a good idea to kind of get away from the notion of modifying the HTML. The page, you're working in the page, in the design, to change the text. That's hard, as you probably noticed. It's a disincentive to update it regularly. And it's why most people have moved towards engines that allow you to create content independent of the design. I'll show you what it looks like when I go to my blog. Which I do in WordPress. In fact, Trish Speaker is going to be on the show a little later on. He's a WordPress fanatic. He's a pro blogger, and he knows a lot about WordPress. So my blog, which is leoville.com/blog, if I log into it, I'll show you the interface. This way you don't even have to worry. You could do this anywhere. I'm doing it, on the road from the office. So this is the administration interface. And when I want to write a post, I go to write post, and I can it's just really essentially a word processing task. This is a post. This is some content. This is bold. And I can take that word bold, press the B button, and it automatically puts the HTML. You do very little HTML. You can insert images by uploading them here. I'll just choose an image file, and I can upload it. Anything from your website. By doing it this way, it gives you an incentive to update, because notice I'm not really doing much formatting. At most, I'm doing bold. When I post it, it automatically folds it into the interface, and I can go to the website. And so the graphics of the website, I didn't even touch. I didn't have to worry about. That's all done. And here's the post, brand new in there, with everything else already done around it. So it makes it very easy to update your website. I would say ultimately that's where you'd like to go with eVentures if you're gonna want to update that on a more regular basis.
Yeah, well, I think that sounds like the route to go.
Yeah, WordPress is a great tool, very easy to install and really powerful. But do take a look at EnView. If you want to continue to work on the design, it's a great way to go. Hey, thanks for calling. I really appreciate it. Now it's time to wander over and say hello to Sean, who's got a Shiny for us.
Yes.
This is a Shiny. This is an iPhone.
It's an Apple iPhone.
Yep.
So I got a challenge for you.
Yep.
Try using these headphones with that.
Oh, you see, they've done something weird. They've got this, the headphone in here is so recessed, it won't work because it doesn't go in because it
doesn't fit.
What do you do about that?
Well, I've got a solution for you. You want to use your own headphones with that?
Yes, I do.
We've got this Shure product.
Okay.
This
it's got the special long. What's different is that the iPhone also has a microphone, so it's got a three-ring plug instead of a two-ring plug. It's a little longer, and it controls. Not only is it a microphone for the phone, but it also controls playback. You can double-click to go to the next song. You can click once to pause. So do you get all that functionality on this thing?
With that one, not so much. You can answer the call. You can mute it.
Answer, mute.
Yeah, and
you plug your headphones into that.
You plug your headphones into that. So now you can plug these headphones. But you know what? Let's take one step up.
Let's get better headphones.
Yeah,
We've
let's
got
get better headphones. This is the whole point. So this adds a microphone in there, and
so now any headphone, even if they don't have a microphone,
has the music phone adapter first.
Plugs into that.
This right here is the Shure SE210.
These are great headphones.
These are isolation headphones.
In-ear monitors, they call them, because they go deep within your ear.
Yeah, so great bass response, isolation, so you don't hear the sound around you, you don't hear the subway or the train or whatever. And
so there's
really
two Shinies here, both from Shure.
Yep.
You've got the Shure headphones and the Shure adapter for the iPhone, so you can use it with the iPhone.
Right, so it sounds great inside your ears. The microphone quality of that is not so good. There's no noise cancellation, and so if you're walking down the street, you'll hear everything there. So here's the plus for the adapter. You can use any headphones you like with that, and it does add voice capability, obviously, to your headphones. And the headphones themselves are great quality, and they do have interchangeable tips like the other ones, so you can use the foam tip if you like, or you can use the flange that we showed. The clip, which is not on there anymore, is not so good. In fact,
right off.
It falls right off and broke, and I lost it on the street somewhere. And the adapter, it doesn't have noise cancellation, so it's
neither,
going
to be fair, does the iPhone microphone. So.
Right. So it would be nice to have that. And the headphones themselves that we just showed here, they're a bit expensive, but they sound great.
So how much is the adapter? It's $40 by itself?
$40.
And then the headphones?
$180.
$180. Okay. Yeah. I use my Animotics, which are actually $300. I shouldn't complain, and they work great with this shirt too.
Yes.
Hey, thank you very much. Coming up, Cali Lewis, our old friend from Geek Brief. She's not old, she's young, but she's a longtime friend with GeekBrief.tv. She's going to join us to talk about how you can use an iTouch to control your iTunes. But first, our quick quiz question of the day. When was the first calculator introduced? First calculator, mechanical calculator. Was it 1902, 1891, 1822, or thousands of years ago in the darkest age of mankind? I don't know. Go to the website. Give us the answer. We'll talk about it when the lab continues. Welcome back to the lab, and I want to welcome my good friend Cali Lewis. She's back in the lab with us via the magic of Skype, and this is actually amazing. I mean, it's like a satellite connection, but it's not. It's over the internet. She's at the X-Train Studios in Addison, Texas, just outside of Dallas. Hi, Cali.
Hey.
Host of GeekBrief.tv. This is great. I mean, it looks like you're really there.
Yeah, and all it is a blue screen behind me, and they're doing all that.
Never reveal the magic, Cali. What have I taught you? You know what's amazing is, and this is people don't know this, but it's a very difficult thing to do. As you see that camera move around, if you've got a blue screen behind you, it doesn't normally work. They've obviously got some very expensive equipment to move the blue screen in conjunction with the camera.
It's very, very cool stuff.
Boy, I'm impressed.
We'll be featuring it on Geek Brief TV, so you guys can check that out. The behind-the-scenes stuff that we should never reveal. Never.
Oh, that's what we specialize in, is breaking the fourth wall. So tell us a little bit about this product Signal, because I'm really intrigued by this. Is this a hack for your iTouch?
No, and that's the best thing about it. It's not a hack. It lets you control iTunes via your iPod Touch, your iPhone, or even just another web browser. But the cool thing about it is that it's software that you install onto the computer that you want to control, and you access it via Safari on your device.
Oh, so I could just use my web browser to do this?
Yeah, exactly. Just any web browser on the network. You need to be on the same network, but you're accessing it via the web. So when you open Signal, if you want to do,
I could do it here. Should I follow along with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I got it, because I have an iTouch. All right, so I start by launching Safari, is that right?
Yeah, just open Signal, and it'll give you the IP address to connect.
Oh, okay, we're doing that on the Mac.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So we have on our Mac, we've got Signal running. There it is. That's the dedicated software, and it's giving us that IP address there. I see. So now I enter that into my browser.
You enter that into your browser, either on another computer or your iPod Touch or your iPhone, and so go into Safari, put that in there, and then you'll see it load. And let me know when you have that.
I have it loaded. I am now looking at album art of a song playing on iTunes.
And so then you can change, you can look at album art, you can go through all this stuff, and you can browse by artist, and then just choose a song and hit play, and it should play from the Mac.
This is so cool.
I love it. I'm so excited about this because, I mean, in my house, studio house, whatever you want to call it, we have the iMac upstairs with all our media on it, and I can be downstairs and decide I want to listen to Twit, and I can play it, and I don't have to go upstairs.
So I'm now playing a song from Robert Plant and Alison Krauss. There's an interesting combination. And I see the album art on this would work on any browser, so it's not just an iTouch. It would work on your computer via Safari, as you said, or it'll even work on an iPhone, or heaven forfend, on a Pocket PC, any browser, right?
Right.
So,
and I haven't been able to get it working on like the Nokia N800, but
why not, I wonder?
Still.
Huh.
I don't know exactly why it's not, but
it doesn't like Opera, maybe, huh?
Maybe.
Yeah.
And so it works on both Macs and PCs. It also controls both iTunes and Windows Media Player, so you're not just limited to iTunes either.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, this is really great cross-platform. How is it? It's called Signal. How much is it?
It's $29.99. There is a free version. You're limited, a little bit of limited capabilities there, but the $29.99 is totally worth it. And I'm a big believer in paying developers for what they're,
I agree.
Things that they're developing that make our lives easier and better.
Although, you know why, you might want to try the free version first, just to make sure it'll work with your setup. And with your browser and everything. I like the idea that I can use the touch or the iPhone to control it. That's really slick. But now, again, you have to be on the same network. So this is for your house. This isn't for over the internet.
No, you don't. You can't go to a remote location because you wouldn't even hear the speakers because you're not.
Oh, good point. You wouldn't hear anything. The music doesn't come out of the browser. The music comes out of the computer you're controlling.
Exactly.
Right. Wow, this is great.
Alloysoft.com.
We're having some fun. Say it again.
Alloysoft.com.
Alloysoft.com. It's called Signal. And Cali Lewis is available at geekbrief.tv. It's a wonderful video podcast. You do a lot of geek stuff. You do now. You have a question and answer thing. I always get it wrong. Is it Ask Cali?
I wish. It's Dear Cali.
Dear Cali. No, Cali's Dear. I'll remember that from now on. The Dear Cali podcast. It's all part of the Pod Show Network, and you can find it at geekbrief.tv. And I hope we can find more of Cali Lewis on The Lab with Leo, because you're the greatest.
Looking forward to it.
We thank everybody at X-Train for what a great studio that is. That's really amazing. And they keep moving the camera around just to show off the fact that they can. I love it. Hey, thanks, Kelly. Great to talk to you. Say hello to Neil for me.
Okay.
We're going to get you on the radio show real soon, too.
Absolutely.
All right, take care. Cali Lewis. More of your calls coming up in just a bit. This is so cool. I want to play with this some more as the lab continues. Bye-bye, Cali. See ya.
Hey, welcome back. You're watching The Lab with Leo. I'm Kate Abraham, and I'm going to show you a great website if you don't happen to have your own personal Ray Maxwell. This one is photonhead.com, and literally it's a website full of tutorials and easy tips about like basic camera techniques, kind of progressing you through, but like a mini school without Ray Maxwell. So yeah, photonhead.com, and basically it's a very cool introductory site to photography, allows you to look at cameras and how they work. Going from there, it also shows you through into the beginner's guide to photography, the do's and don'ts. Apparently pointing and shooting is the first start, so I'll remember that one.
Yes.
So it's photonhead.com.
I like the pole coming out of his head.
I like the kind of peering up.
I think that would be the mistake example.
That would be my photography.
Do you often get things coming out of people's heads?
Usually landmarks like Big Ben or like the Eiffel Tower. Good for me.
You know, rules are meant to be broken. As long as you know the rule and you break it on purpose.
Absolutely. I'm doing it for artistic purposes.
Yes, she likes that.
Absolutely. It looks good having Big Ben coming out this way.
Photohead.com.
Photonhead.
Photonhead.
Yes.
That looks good. It's a beautiful looking set.
Very cool site, and it's very easy to follow as well, which is great.
There is it's interesting how much interest there is now in digital photography. More and more people are getting cameras. We're going to do more on it, frankly. I think there's a lot of interest in this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And boy, you now have the technology to become a great photographer. Between the software and the cameras, I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, you can make some really beautiful images.
Hey, let's get speaking of beautiful images, let's get another beautiful caller on the show here.
We have Jan, and he's from Valencia in California.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Kate. Hello, Jan.
Hi, Leo.
Welcome
Thank you for having me on.
Well, it's good to have you. Can I help you in any way possible?
Oh, I hope so.
Okay.
I'm looking for some way to take all of my cassettes, and you can hardly find the cassette player anymore because of CDs. And I'd like to be able to take some of those messages that I have and some of my music that I had for years and put them on the CD.
Do you have a computer, Jan?
Pardon?
You have a computer?
I do.
Okay. So I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to do this. It's actually very straightforward in a computer. If you didn't have a computer, I wanted to show you this just because I think this is so cool. You remember Crosley, the old radio company?
I do.
They used to make those beautiful wooden radios. They're still around of all things, and they make a device. In some ways, this might be the easiest way to do it, even if you have a computer, called the Songwriter CD Burner. It is a record player with a cassette port on the side there. That's a cassette port. So you could take cassettes or records, and it has a CD burner in the front. You put a blank CD in, you press go, and it takes the cassette or it takes the record. This is great if you've got both, and translates it into a CD just automatically. Now, it's not cheap. It's $400. So if you've already got the computer part, you know, this is probably overkill. But for people who don't have a computer or just don't want the complexity, this is a great solution. Now, if you already have a computer, are you Windows or Mac?
Windows.
Okay. Simplest thing in the world, you've got a cassette player. Just hook the output of your cassette player, or better yet, your amp, if it's hooked up to an amp, to the sound card. You'll need to go to Radio Shack or somewhere and get a cable. Generally, it'll be an RCA cable, dual RCA plugs for the cassette player or the amplifier into a mini jack for the computer's sound card. So that'll get the audio in, and then you need some recording software. Our good friend Andy Walker has a great article. I'll put a link on the show notes to it that describes what he uses, which is, what is it called? Total X Recorder, Total Sound Recorder.
Something like that.
I can't remember. It's in the show notes there. And anyway, it will automatically. All Sound Recorder, that's what it is. It does all the work for you. It's $30 though, so if you don't want to spend any money at all except for the cable, this is it, the All Sound Recorder. If you don't want to spend any money at all, you could go to SourceForge, and get Audacity, which is a free music recorder and editor. It works on all platforms, including Windows. And Audacity will record the sound.
Audacity?
Pardon me?
What was the name again? Audacity?
Audacity, as in audacious.
Okay.
And if you Google Audacity, you'll find it. It's free, which is nice. It's open source. Audacity.sourceforge.net. It has a recorder. It has an editor. That's one of the main things you have to do is then divide these, because you'll just record the whole cassette as one big lump, and then you'll have to figure out where the individual songs are. It's very easy when you're looking at the waveform. You'll see kind of a blank spot. You can also use its equalizer to reduce hiss if there's a little hiss on there, as there often is in cassettes. And then you save it out. Now, Audacity will save it out as waves, but it'll also save it out as MP3. So that's probably what you want. Now, if you're burning it to CD, save it out as waves. If you have a CD burner, you probably have CD burning software, right?
Yes, I do.
So you'll take those waves, import them into the CD burning software, and burn out a CD, and you're done.
Oh, you made that easy.
It is easy. Okay. And it's worth doing because you really those cassettes are going to degrade after a while.
Oh, that's
you only get about 10 years before the mylar backing, the backing starts to fail and the iron oxide starts to fall off, and then you get nothing.
Right. So, I'm already starting to lose some.
Exactly.
Oh.
Get them now while you can. Once they're digital, you've got them forever.
Yep.
Hey, thanks so much for the call. I appreciate it. And we're going to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to talk to our good friend Chris Hussey. He's the pro blogger. He's going to show you. Now, I showed you how to do WordPress from the web. He's going to show you how to do WordPress without even using the web browser. Some dedicated clients for blogging coming up in just a bit. But first, our quick quiz question of the day. Are you ready? Here it is, laddie. When was the first calculator introduced? Was it 92, or thousands of years ago on the peat bogs overlooking the moors of Scotland? I just made that part up. I don't know. We'll find out when the lab continues. Welcome back to the lab. A little tricky quiz question from our Sean Carruthers. Notice he doesn't say mechanical calculator. The first calculator was, of course, thousands of years ago, the abacus. Probably you could say that the first guy who figured out how to use rocks to keep track of the tens column created a calculator. Chris Hussey is here. He's a pro blogger, and he's going to tell us a little bit about an easier way to blog than using the interface that the blog engine provides you.
Yeah, there's a great segue from that caller.
Yeah, I showed you the WordPress interface.
The WordPress interface. So as a pro blogger, one of the biggest things people ask me is, how do you crank out so many posts so fast?
Right.
And the secret is using an offline blog editor.
You can create blogs on the airplane even if you're not online.
It's blogging on the plane.
And then when you get home, you post it.
Exactly. I actually wrote on the way over here several posts on the ferry and saved them. And then as soon as I came in, uploaded them.
As a pro blogger, you think it's important to blog a lot?
It is important to blog a lot, at least every day.
So something like this will make it easier.
It makes it a lot easier.
Now you're on Windows, so this is going to be Windows stuff.
This is going to be Windows stuff, but I do know Mac programs that will work too. So
I'll mention a few.
We'll mention a few.
Let's show the Windows stuff first.
My favorite is LiveWriter.
I have to say, this blows me away.
I know.
Microsoft gives this away free.
It gives it away free. It's awesome. It works off of the metaphor of just, it's a word processor, one window, does it all.
It kind of looks a little bit like the WordPress.
It does. I have it in the mode where this is copying the style from the Blog Nation blog. So when I put in my title,
it's going to look exactly like.
It looks exactly like.
There's an advantage to that because you're seeing what your post is going to look like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now you use the example of putting in a picture, and I want to. Where's my cursor here? I'm going to switch into regular mode, which is just Control F11 instead of the view mode. And so this is my text, and you use the.
You have to upload it and you have to paste it in.
This is really easy. I'm just gonna go to the desktop, and I think we recognize this guy here. And the great Mr. Bo Sox fan. Gotta love the Red Sox Nation.
Now look, it's just there, and you can resize it.
And you can resize it. Here's a fun thing. You want to do something nice like
look at this. You can put shadows on it.
You can put shadows on there. Do a drop shadow, do a little photo paper.
That's really cool.
And if you need to edit the source, like we do for our blog, I just jump into the source mode, which is just, view HTML code.
Right.
And I can type in our special, class equals, You can
set it up as a template to do that automatically as well.
Well, this, for some yes, some no. So we're just going to call this, block center is the one that I remember I have to do, and switch back.
So the idea is this is like a word processor for your posts. You get it looking the way you want, and you press publish.
And it's done.
And it's done.
And you can set your categories and create new categories.
Very cool.
On this one.
And
set
Microsoft gives this away. This is a beta, but you know,
it's been beta for a couple of years. It's very solid. Tags, a whole line.
I was blown away when I started playing with this. I think it was you who told me to try it.
Yeah, it probably was. Now, here's another Windows option, which is Ecto.
And I've used this as well for years.
And it's Windows and Mac.
Yep.
They, you notice, use the metaphor. They have this management window, and then you create a new post. Yeah, I don't like this as much just because when I want to write, I want to write.
Right.
Okay. So then I also think their editing window is a little cluttered. And I just hit that.
Clean it up, obviously.
Yeah,
so
you can clean it up. But
what I do like is the tabbed rich view versus HTML view. It's nice to be able to go back and forth.
See, I'm just used to hitting Control F11 and
so
I'll
it's
jump
just
around.
as easy for you.
Just as easy for me. Now, if you want
is not free. It's shareware.
Ecto is not free. It's same with Mars Edit, which is Mac only.
And I use that on the Mac. I love Mars Edit.
Hence, it's not on my web browser. Now, Flock.
Which is the browser.
The browser
Mac
Flock.
and Windows.
Mac and Windows based off of Firefox. Some of the development team is actually in Victoria, BC.
Oh, neat.
They built a blog editor into this. So I'm here on the Lab with Leo page, and I'm just going to grab.
Look how easy this is.
This is amazing. I'm just going to grab a picture.
You dragged a picture from it.
I just dragged it to this web clipboard, and I'm going to say I want to blog it. There's the editor.
Wow.
And
so which do you use?
I use Windows Live Writer mostly because I like the way it outputs the HTML and things.
Right.
But if I had a second choice, I would use Flock.
Because it's built into your browsing.
It's built into the browser.
If you're one of those bloggers who blogs a lot of links and photos from other pages and clips from other pages, this would be the way to go.
This would be a really good way to go. Because now, if I'm going to switch to Firefox
We're out of time,
quick.
I'm sorry to say.
Oh, well.
Can you put it on the web?
I'll put it on the web for you.
Labwithleo.com. Tris, we just never have enough time, but we'll have you back soon, okay?
Okay.
Tris Hussey is a pro blogger. What blog should we go to see your best stuff?
Let's go to ca.blognation.com.
Let's go there. That's his stuff, man.
That's my stuff.
Thank you so much, Tris. And we'll see you at Blog World. That's going to be a lot of fun.
That's right.
Can't wait for that. We'll have a final word for you right after this. Stay right here. Welcome back to the lab. We just were checking this out. Sean Carruthers' signal works fine on the Nokia 800, which is that cool Nokia tablet.
Absolutely, I love that.
For internet surfing stuff. Matt's been using this.
Yes, he has.
He has, because there's a whole bunch of porn links on here.
Exactly, and dirty fingerprints.
and the Red Sox and the Bruins. I don't understand. No, just kidding. The new one of these, I can't wait to see the 810 with a keyboard that slides out. That's the one I'm going to look at. Yeah, very, very cool. We're out of time. We thank Cali for joining us, Ray Maxwell, Tris Hussey. We thank you.
Thank you.
The wonderful Kate Abraham, and most of all, we thank you. If you'd like to be on the show, we'd love to have you. All you have to do is go to the website and click the link, and Kate will call you and put you on.
I will.
Yeah. Thanks for being here. Tell your friends. We'll see you next time on The Lab. Bye-bye.